recording. So if you want to come back and revisit this, just send me an email and I can send you the link so you can see the recorded session. The session is also available online, and that information is on the Boss of Google Resources handout, so you can get the information to find this presentation and the handouts online if you want to share it with anyone. Okay, well, welcome to this session. We are going to get started now. My name is Jennifer Kelly, a reference librarian, and today we're going to be talking about Google and some of the resources in Google that help you search a little bit smarter, a little bit easier, a little bit faster. So let me get this started. I'm going to switch screens now to show my PowerPoint presentation with you, and so I will be away from chat for a little while. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and put it in chat. I might not answer right away, however, so we're going to save questions if possible till the end, but I'll see if I can check back and forth with you there. So let me stop sharing that page and give you my screen. All right, everybody should right now see a big PowerPoint presentation that says you're the boss of Google. Let me toggle back to the presentation so we can make sure that that's what you're seeing. Let's see. Okay, you know what? I do get messages. So if you have a question or a problem, go ahead and type your message because I get a little pop-up that says that you have a question. Perfect. All right, so let's get started. You're the boss of Google using Google for research. Google is great. Go ahead and tell me what you love about Google. Type it in the chat box. It'll pop up for me. Just the things that you use in Google every day, or maybe not every day, but frequently, or things that you've only just discovered in Google that you think are interesting. Images. Someone really loves Google Images. Absolutely. That's a great resource. Anything in Google, pretty much everything. Yep, finding exact web domains, fantastic. We are going to talk a little bit about that for those of you who didn't know what that was. Everything, yes, Google. I pretty much just turn my life over to Google and let them take care of everything, which might not be the best decision, but I really do find a lot of resources in Google that I think are fantastic. So this What Do You Love is actually a website in Google called, it's called wdyl.com, What Do You Love from Google, and we can put in anything. So if we put in, the College of DuPage, it'll find the College of DuPage using all of Google's resources. So I can translate the College of DuPage into another language. I can measure the popularity of College of DuPage. I can find books about College of DuPage, see pictures, watch videos, explore. Let's take a look at what else we have here. We can find it on a map. We can organize a debate, call someone, find patents, access College of DuPage stuff on the web, email someone about College of DuPage, and on and on and on. Google has so many resources, and most of us never use even a portion of them. Here are just some of the popular tools in Google. So if you're familiar with Google, on the Google page, there's always a bar at the top that says, maybe the top 6 or 7 things you might use in Google, and then there's more, and they list maybe 10 others, and then there's even more, and that's what you get on this page, is all of the web sources, all of the mobile sources, the media sources, the geo sources, and it just goes on and on and on. So there's endless Google products that can help us be more productive, to be more creative, to share, to spend, and to do research. Some additional sources here. We've got home and office, we have social, we have specialized searches. And today we're going to take a look at just 4 Google tools that will help you specifically to do research. So those 4 tools in which you can make Google bend to your will are Google Advanced Search, which isn't so much a tool as a strategy that you can use in the other tools as well, Google Scholar, Google Books, and Google News. Let's talk first about Google Advanced Search. So as I believe it was Chris mentioned, something that you can do with Google is limit your search to a specific site or domain. I think this is probably the most useful thing I've found using just plain old Google, being able to focus my results to either a specific website or a specific type of website. So if I'm looking for Statistics, I might just want to limit my results to government websites. If I'm looking for information about a charity or a nonprofit or a topic that is dealt with by charities and nonprofits, I can limit my results to organizations. And if I'm looking for information coming from a college or a university, I can limit to .edu websites. Let's take a look at Google Advanced Search. In the handout, the Google resources, it does have a URL for the advanced search. You can also get to it just from the Google page. Usually look for, it doesn't seem to be on this page, but anytime you see a gear on a Google page, that usually will help you get to Google Advanced Search or google.com/advanced search. We'll get it to you as well. And of course, you can just Google it. Just put in advanced search Google and it'll come right up. So we've got a lot of options here with the advanced search. You can put words in quotes, you can use or, you can take words out. You'll see if we put a minus sign in front of a word, it'll make sure that that word doesn't show up. You can limit to numbers, and a lot of these tips and tricks are available in those handouts that I've provided in the Adobe Connect Classroom. You can limit to language, reason, last time a page was updated. What we're looking for today is the site or domain. And this is where we can limit to either a specific site, as it says, you can search just wikipedia.org, or a specific domain. I usually use it for a specific domain, but if you're ever on a website that has a lot of content and does not have a very good search box, I'm sure we've all been to a website where you use their search box and the results it gives back are awful. I know the College of DuPage website not too long ago was like that. You'd put in a search and you'd come up with the most crazy things. So I could put in C.O.D.edu and search that site using Google. It's fantastic for any website that just doesn't really have a good, strong search tool. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to limit our website to .gov, or limit our search to .gov. And I'm going to do a search for invasive species. Oops, I'm going to spell it right too. Here we go. So instead of just getting everything on the web that has to do with invasive species, I am getting specific information from government websites. In this case, we have a fantastic resource, looks like invasivespecies.gov. This takes a lot of guesswork out of doing research. I don't have to wonder if I'm getting persuasive information, biased information, if someone is trying to sell me something. I know that I'm getting factual information from a government website. I can go ahead and change this to a .org and get information from Wikipedia or invasive.org or nature.org from the Nature Conservancy. And I can do the same search and switch to a .edu. And I have a fantastic resource here, the Center for Aquatic and Invasive Plants from the University of Florida. That is one of the best things you can get out of .edu, is these extensions or research centers that are attached to a college or university, projects and things like that. Something I always warn students, though, when it comes to using .edu websites, is you really, really want to make sure that the information you're getting is from an official college resource. It might be a professor or professor's publication, something from a college or university's website. Just double check, because lots of colleges and universities will share information. Let's see, I've got someone raising their hand. Let me escape out of here and answer that question. Let me go back to the classroom. Okay, and the question was, go ahead and type that if you have one, unless you're just raising your hand, in which case we'll go back to sharing the screen. Looks like I don't have a question. Sorry about that. Let's go back. Okay. So, as I was saying, so one of the problems with a .edu is lots of colleges and universities will share student papers. So you want to make sure if you're getting your information from a .edu, make sure it's coming from someone official, someone with authority, someone with credibility, not a freshman comp paper who probably doesn't know even as much as you know about a topic. So that's an important aspect of this. But just by limiting our sources to .edu, .org, .gov, we found a lot of great sources. and really took the guesswork out of wading through what would have been a lot more resources. And some of those rose to the top, but this way we don't have to wonder whether what we're looking at is good, bad, or indifferent. All right, let's head back to our presentation. Google Scholar. Very frequently when you do a search in Google, Google Scholar will show up at the top, maybe 3 or 4 articles that appear in Google Scholar. One of the biggest frustrations, I think, for people using Google Scholar is that you'll see these great citations and abstracts, but the entire article isn't available. You might just get a description or a couple sentences or just a little teaser. So what we're going to show you today is how to find those articles and how to increase the chances of you finding the entire article from Google Scholar online. But if you're not familiar with Google Scholar, it does allow you to find scholarly articles online. So again, increasing the probability that you're going to get credible articles from credible sources. Google Scholar will allow you to limit to specific subject areas, and this is key, and this is where it becomes really helpful. It takes a little bit of the frustration out of it, is Google Scholar will allow you to connect with C.O.D. library databases. So if you're on campus or if you're off campus and have your library card, this is a fantastic boon. You can take Google and it takes you right into the library databases. Let's take a quick look at this as well. So let's head to, I'm just going to Google Scholar just so I can show you that that works as well. There used to be a quick link for Google Scholar up in these quick links here, but it has gone away, sadly. So if I click on Google Scholar, looks just like Google, but now I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, which is great. If you haven't used Google Scholar in a while, you'll see it's changed a little bit. I have some settings up here. There used to be a link for advanced search that is now hidden, a little more streamlined, and it is this little arrow here that takes us to the advanced scholar search. So if we drop that down, we have our options here again. So I can find my words, exact phrases without the words, and again, this is very similar to what we saw in the plain old Google advanced search. I'm going to put in my topic, and in this case we are going to do some research on fracking, which you can see is already here. And I'm going to limit my results. This is a really important part of using Google Scholar and Google Books, as we'll see, because a lot of what comes up free in Google Scholar and Google Books are very old things. We want to make sure we're getting more up-to-date information. Do my search, and I have 1,330 results, but not a lot of them are full text, and some of them don't even have a lot of information to them. I do have some things that are coming free from the National Institutes of Health, again, a great .gov site. I have frackinginsider.com, which is giving us access to a Wall Street Journal article. But if I want to increase the number of articles that I have access to, the trick in Google Scholar is to go to the little setting here, the little gear. Always look for those gears. I have some other options I have to choose from, but I want to go to library links. This is a great way to pull the library's databases into Google Scholar. Because I'm on campus, I already have access to ProQuest full text, but I'm going to add College of DuPage here, find my library, and I have even more options. EBSCO full text will give me articles from our EBSCO databases, and College of DuPage Library Find This at C.O.D. will allow me to interlibrary loan articles if they're not available in those databases, or tell me if they're here on campus in print, or possibly in another database. So additional options that allow us to get more articles through Google Scholar. I'm going to save those. You probably do need to be logged into Google in order to access those. So I have some repeats here. The same things that were available through the National Institute of Health are also available for EBSCO host, but I also have some things that I didn't have before. Like this article, should fracking stop? Yes, it is too high. And if I went forward, I'd probably find some others that I didn't have access to either. You'll see the find this at C.O.D, which will help me find it in another database. You'll also see for some resources down here, C.O.D's print collection. We have the New York Times here in the library. Same thing with Vanity Fair. So we have additional options that we did not have before because now Google knows that we are associated with the College of DuPage and we have access to these things through our library card. Some other things you can do with Google Scholars, look for legal documents. So if there's any of you who are studying in the paralegal program or in the criminal justice program, we can focus just on legal documents. We can include citations or not. We can include or not include citations. We also have the ability to create email alerts. So if I click this, it will look for anything that has the word fracking in the title and email me as new things appear. So if you have a long-term project or just something that you're interested in, or you know that you're going to be doing research over the course of a semester, this is a really great way to have Google tell you when new useful resources appear. Google Books, fantastic resource as well. You can find full view books that you can read online. So this is the full text of books, ebooks that are available online to anyone, whether you have a library card or not. All you need is an internet connection. You can preview books through Google and request them from this library via interlibrary loan. So if there's something that we don't have here in the library, we can get it from another library. Or if you have the preview on Google Books, you can also check to see if we do have it as well. You can purchase ebooks. So if you are interested in reading a book on an ebook player or even just on your computer, you can do that and buy those through Google Books, very similar to the Amazon Kindle program they have on there. You can create a Google library where you can save books that you want to read or that you're interested in. And this is something that doesn't necessarily pop right up when you use Google Books, you can find and read magazine articles. So if there's something that you're looking for, especially historic magazines like Time, Life, even some older music magazines or cultural magazines, find the full text of those magazines, all those articles, even advertising in Google Books. So some great stuff in there, very useful for doing research. Let's take a look here. And the website is just books.google.com. You can also get to it by typing in google.com/books. You'll see that I can browse books and magazines, or I can just search my topic. My topic that I used to do when I was demonstrating Google Books was hip-hop culture, which we found some great things, but I always had a problem finding free ebooks on the topic because it's not a very old topic, and it would come up with some Victorian books that had absolutely nothing to do with hip-hop culture and had to do with hip roofs instead, not the same topic. So we're going to change and look for something else and look for dream interpretation. All right, so our Google Books search looks a lot like a general Google search, and you'll see we have the option to switch to web, images, maps, videos, news, shopping, books, and more. But right now I am just looking at books. Some things that you can see here, the title of the book, where it's coming from, author, when it was published, how long the book is, very helpful, and a link to a preview of that book. If we look on the left-hand side in our menu here, we can look at any books that are available on our topic, books that only have a preview available, Google eBooks, take a look at that, and you'll see there are free books and books that you can buy. So if you're interested, you can purchase the Bedside Dream Dictionary or you can preview it. Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud, published in 1913. The entire 510 pages of it is available as a free Google ebook, so you can download that to your computer, download it to your device, and have it for free. If you want to just limit to those free Google ebooks, there's a link for that as well. and you'll see what I have available. Again, most free ebooks through Google are going to be older, from early 1900s, maybe even later than that. So keep that in mind when you're doing your Google book search. It's not likely that you're going to find a free Google edition of your class textbook, but if you're taking an English class, and you have to read Great Expectations, chances are you're going to be able to find that entire book free on Google. Be able to download that or read that online. Let's see, I have a raised hand. If you have a question, go ahead and type that in and it will pop up for me. Give you a second to type. And we'll take a look while you're typing. Okay. Do you have to have an e-reader to use ebooks? No, you do not. And that is an excellent question. If I wanted to download the interpretation of dreams, let's take a look at that actually. Let's just click into the interpretation of dreams. Free ebook. Click that. And you'll see that there are different options. Let me go back because I think that went back too quickly. Let's see. Go back. One. Okay, so if I hover, you'll see that it's good for the web, which means I can read it online on my computer. It'll just save as a file, probably a PDF. It's also good for a tablet or iPad, an e-reader, or a smartphone. So if you're on your phone, you can find Sigmund Freud's interpretation of dreams and keep it handy on your phone for you. It'll tell you some features: flowing text, scanned pages, and it even provides help for devices and formats. So if you do have an e-reader and you're not sure whether or not the Google ebook will work for it, it will give you some advice. But no, if it's a free ebook, you do not need a reader to use it. You can just read it right on your computer, or if you have a smartphone, you can do that as well. That's a very good question. So let's take a look while we're in a Google book here. This is a full text Google book that we could download, or we can just read online while we have our connection. Let's see, we can search it. We can flip through pages here. And you'll see all they've done is scan an existing book and made that available online. So one of the frustrating things is you could come across pages that didn't scan properly. You could see pictures of people's thumbs. Hopefully you don't, that never happens, but it is a possibility. Some other options we have here, if we look over on the left-hand side again, we can get this book in print. So if you wanted to buy it from a used bookstore or Amazon, you also always have the opportunity, whether it's the book is available in its entirety or just a preview or not even a preview, to find the book in a library. And this is where that connection between the College of DuPage library and Google is really, really helpful. So look for that Find in a Library link. We'll click that. And let's see, oh, it looks a little confusing here. Let's take a look. I think this is, oh, we'll look at this one. Past it would take me directly to this page. And what you'll see is, because I'm here on campus, I'm connected to the College of DuPage Library network, and it tells me that the College of DuPage Library does have this book. So I can click in and find the book in the library's catalog. If it weren't available for the College of DuPage Library, I would click the link that says find this at the C.O.D. library, and I would be able to do an interlibrary loan of this book from another library with my library card. Let's go back to Google Scholar. Oops, nope, sorry about that. Head back to my dream interpretation list here. I also want to show you, we looked at books here. I also want to show you that you can limit to specific time periods. So if you only want new books, let's go back to our any books here. I only want to look for books that were published in this century. I can do that. I probably will not find as many free books this way. I can sort by date. I can look at them in a different way if I'm more interested in the pictures than the text. And I can also, from here, go to magazines. I've always hoped that it would be very easy to get to Google magazines just by saying, google.com/magazines, but magazines are tucked in here with books. So I have great things like Weekly World News that I can look at the entire articles, entire magazines of the Weekly World News and learn all about the giant snake terror. This probably isn't going to help me do research very much, but I'm now looking at 21st century magazines, and I can go back and look at 20th century magazines and see the Yoga Journal from 1991, or New Scientist from 1988, or Popular Science from 1910. So full text articles, again, this is just looking for dream interpretation. If I just wanted to browse magazines, I could do that as well. So the magazines are fantastic. I can go into something like New Scientist, take me right to the article, and you'll see they've scanned it so all my pictures are intact. If there's any advertising or drawings or side notes, that's included as well. So you really do have the full experience of looking at these magazines, and with some of the old ones, it's kind of an exciting thing to be able to do. Let's head back here. Are there any questions about using Google Books? Again, you have your little gear here for some options for your search settings, your web history, some search help. Anytime you're on a Google page and you're looking for some information, look for that gear. Search help is always helpful, always useful. This is where I get most of the tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you today is from Google's own search help pages. Google News. Google News is usually incorporated into our Google search results as we're looking for things, as we're browsing around. But if you just search Google News, it can be a really good way, again, to find your credible, authoritative sources. So instead of just Googling for your topic and finding whatever's out there, if you're looking at news sources, you'll find the most up-to-date information. You'll be able to get information from print news sources, from broadcast news sources, anything that's available online. So you are able to limit your searches just to those news sources. When you're logged into Google, you can personalize and track your news stories. You can limit to specific news sources. So if you're only interested in getting stories from the New York Times or a specific blog or a specific anchor on a news channel, you can do that. And if you're not interested in getting blog posts, if you want to make sure you're just getting print news or broadcast news, you can get those out of there as well. So as with anything with Google, lots of options. Let's take a look here. So right now I am logged in and looking at the US edition of Google News. And right now it's just giving me all the news headlines. So if I hadn't caught up with the news today, if I hadn't looked at a paper, I can see what's going on in the world just by going to Google News. And of course I can search. I can look at top stories, something's going on with Netflix, Mitt Romney, Ron Paul, pancreatic cancer, MacBook Pro, multiple sclerosis, anything that's in the news, I can limit to that. And of course, I can search. Just like a newspaper, I can go to specific sections. If I'm just interested in entertainment news, I can do that. If I want to look at health news, it gives me all of that stuff right up there. Exciting breaking news about a 16-year-old with a spear through his brain coming from CBS News. And you'll see we do have a wide range of information coming from different places. So I have lots of different video sources here. I have something from the New York Times, CNBC, Reuters. Let's see, I have a mess. Don't tell me Johnny Depp broke up with his lady. Oh, I know, it's shocking news that we wouldn't have known without Google News. So yes, this is a great way to just, while you're on Google, let's see what's going on in the news. And you find things out like Johnny Depp splitting up with Vanessa. He's available, says Nancy. Absolutely, ladies. Get started now. Send him an email. Find Google's matchmaking website, maybe. All right, so let's head back to the top stories here, our main page. Let's see. Actually, I want to go back where we were before. And there we go. Oh, well. Yes, here we go. So because I'm logged in, I do have some options to personalize my Google News. So if I'm not at all interested in business, you'll see here I have it scrolled to rarely. If I don't like business at all, I can just get rid of it, dump it in the trash. If I want more sports, I can crank that up and I get always sports. Sports always show up in my news results. If I'm tired of hearing about the elections, again, I can scoot that down or change it to occasionally. If there are specific news topics in here that I want to put in, I can do that. So if I'm really interested in cars, I can put that in anytime anything about cars shows up. It'll rise to the top of my stories. Let's see, I can put in specific sources. So if I want a lot of information from the New York Times, I can do that. If I want less information from, say, NBC, I can add them and say, nope, not as much from NBC. Reset my sources, and then I've gotten rid of those options, and I see some additional things. Recent stories, Chicago Metro, because it knows that I'm in Chicago, very handy. Look at personalizing specific sources, great stuff in here. So some other things you can do in Google News. Right now I'm looking at the US edition, but you can look at Google News editions from all around the world. The great thing about this is it's not just translating our news, the news on this page, into another language. It's actually going to those countries, finding their news sources, and sharing them with us. So if you have lived in another country or interested in another country, you can get your news that way too. Let's take a look at Spain. I'm now looking at the Edición de España, and I have sources coming from RTVE, ABC Español, El Mundo, Finanzas, all the news that is news in Spain. Great way to get international news. Head back to US. I can change the way that it looks, have just headlines and no pictures. Take a look at the classic view. And of course, because I'm in Google, I can personalize my news using this gear. So when it disappears, I know that it's just here in that as well. So I can search Google News. Let's get our update on the European debt crisis. And you'll see I'm getting information from the BBC News, the Telegraph, Economic Times, Columbus Dispatch. Wide range of sources, and I've taken, again, some of the guesswork out of this because I know I'm getting quality news sources. I am getting all news. I can focus in specifically on blogs if I want. I can look at information from the past hour, so I only have the most up-to-date information. A custom range, and I can reset my tools. I can sort by date, etc. Advanced search is always available. So I can get very specific, as we did with anything, any of our Google searches as well. Head back to our presentation. All right. Additional tools that you can explore. The phrase search, putting something in quotes to keep words together. That's something that you can do in advanced search or something that you can do on your own. We saw in the Google Advanced Search terms that you want to exclude. Just put a little minus sign next to it and it'll take that out of there. Using an asterisk to fill in the blanks. Something else that's really helpful, it stands in as a wild card and will allow you to leave out a word or two. The OR operator, so if you're looking for cell phones or mobile phones to expand your search. Google's generally very good about doing that anyway and finding synonyms or related terms. But if there's something specific or something that's not necessarily a synonym, say you're looking for information about Johnny Depp or someone else, I've just completely forgotten about every single possible actor out there, so I couldn't think of another name there. Say if you're looking for just information on Johnny Depp or Ralph Fiennes, you can do that, and it'll use that OR operator because Google wouldn't necessarily think that the two were necessarily equated. So additional resources here, very quickly, from Everyday Essentials, Local Search, and the Reference Search. And these are on your handout as well, but let's take a quick look. These are available from the Google's Help that help you improve your search experience. Great resources. You come to this page and it tells you how to do it from a Google page, but also you can use this search as well. So anytime you're on a Google page and you type in weather and a place, it'll give you that information right away. You don't even have to pick a website to take a look at. Same thing with stock quotes, or if you want to know what time it is in another country, or you want to know how either the Cubs or the White Sox are doing today. You can find that information very easily, but just typing in your team. sunrise and sunset time. You just type that into the Google box and it'll give it to you. The local search, if you're looking for a place to eat, type in what you're looking for and the zip code, and it'll provide you a great list, maps, and contact information so you can find out if the place is available. Any kind of local business, doesn't have to be food, be any kind of store or company. And again, with movies, you want to see a movie, just type in the title of it and it will tell, and the zip code, and it'll tell you when it's playing and where. Head back up to the top here and click Reference Tools. Calculator. How many of you knew that Google is a fantastic and easy calculator? Also a fantastic and easy to use dictionary. Really easy to use Google for these things. You just type in your numbers, it gives you the answer. If you want to know if there's a recent earthquake, you type in the word earthquake and it will give you that information. Unit conversion. I use this all the time. I love to cook, and there's some great websites out there that are European, and it'll tell me that I need a kilogram of flour. How much is that in standard weight? So I can put that in and it'll convert that for me. Public data. If you're doing research, you need statistics on population or unemployment rates, just type that in the place you're looking for and it'll come right up for you. People profiles, kind of a creepy little thing, but it allows you to Google people and it'll give you information as well. So this page is something that you can take a look at. It's just google.com/help, and endless amounts of information that you can use to find great shortcuts to find information in Google. Google search help page. Like I said, anytime you're in Google, look for anything that says help or more information. You'll find endless amounts of great tips for searching, how to explore Google search, customize it, learn why you might want to use iGoogle. Great stuff. Google's obviously promoting itself a lot, and it likes to do that, but by doing so, it really does give you a lot of techniques for really maximizing the tools that are out there. That's the end of the show and tell part, so I'll go back and give some questions and leave the presentation here for you. Let's get out of that. Stop sharing my screen. All right. Does anybody have any questions? We got plenty of time. We got 20 minutes. If there's anything that was unclear or anything that you would like to have gone over again, if there's something that you wanted to see more in depth, go ahead. I'm going to turn off my microphone. I think people should have microphone options themselves. So if you'd like to speak, you can go ahead and do that. If you have a question, just type away. And so I'll give you guys just a couple of minutes. I'm going to take a little drink of water, and then if there's anything else that you'd like, we can go ahead and share that. All right, everyone should now have microphone rights, so if you would like to use the microphone, you can go ahead and click the little audio button at the top, or just feel free to chat. There's only one person can use a microphone at a time, but if you'd like to do that, you can. Thanks, Nancy. Someone else is typing. Let's see, I want to make sure that I get my information to the people who are taking this for extra credit, and I also want to share the evaluation for the workshop. It is going to be appearing in the box here, and do make sure that you download those handouts if you're interested, because there are some resources on there as well, and I'll also give you a the link so that you can find the presentation online. So if you copy bit.ly.com/WEBSOS, or WebSauce as I like to call it, let me make this linkable so you can actually get to it. You'll be able to get to the evaluation for this. There we go. Now you can click and go right to it. If you are taking this workshop for extra credit, be sure to email me, and my email again is kellyj@cod.eu. Email me with your name, the name of your instructor, and the name of the class that you're getting extra credit for. So if you're taking it for Professor Wagner at Speech 1100, let me know that so I can contact your instructor and say, so-and-so was in this workshop for extra credit, and they can find you easily and make sure that you get your extra credit. So just email me with that, download those documents, head over to the evaluation page, and let me also provide the link for this presentation online if you want to take a look at it again or if you want to share it with somebody. It is available. Let me get that from our SOS workshop website. Okay, Chris, Professor Weiss from English 1102, email me so I can forward that on to your instructor as well. So I will take a note of this information and hold on to it, but please do email me so we can get that all set. And are there any other questions? All right, well, I want to thank you all for attending. I really enjoyed it. And if you do want the recording of this, again, just send me an email and I'll be able to send you the link of the recording. Should be available tomorrow. And that presentation is online. And thank you all, and you're very welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. Our next workshop is tomorrow. We have 2 workshops, APA Citing and Formatting at 11 o'clock, and Building Websites with WordPress at 12:30. So that's 2 SOS online workshops tomorrow. You can find that information on the library's website, and that is that same link for the Google presentation. So you can get to that at library.codlibrary.org/SOS and click the link for online to see what's going on. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day, and everybody stay cool. Take care.